you have to be confident in your ideas and move forward. And so you need to surround yourself around really great quality people in your life that are going to inspire you, want you to create more, do more, become more.
Good morning, everybody. I see some people already online. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm Mandy Branham, host of the Full-Time Investor. Can't believe which episode we're on already. I thank you for your continued support. Let us know that you're here. Put some comments on the box, because today your attention is going to be wanted to hear the knowledge that we're going to evoke out of my guest today. I'm honored and privileged to be able to have Alfonso Cuadra as my guest here on the show today. A friend, fellow investor, mentor. Alfonso, thanks for being here today.
Good to be here, Mandy.
Our paths have crossed for the last little bit, and as much as we sometimes think there's a lot of us in this industry, everybody brings a uniqueness, and I'd love for you to be able to share what your journey of real estate is for the viewers that are new to you, and maybe a reminder for the viewers that do know who you are.
Well, thank you, Mandy. Yeah, I will share a little bit. I don't know how long we have here. Maybe when we have, but the story might take longer to tell. But I'll give you the synopsis. Was born in Latin America. I was actually in a war-torn country. Immigrated to Canada as a refugee. Had some problems integrating into schools. Dropped out of high school at 15 years old. And became, also left home at 15, became homeless at 15 years old, and had a really tough time. Dark place, panhandling for change. I mean, when I tell people this story, that was my dark moment. Everybody's had a dark moment. You, Mandy, as well. You've had dark moments in your life, and no one dark moment is bigger than the other one. It's just we can't stay there, right? I had a life-changing moment in my life. At 17, I became a father of a little girl. Her name is Talia, and it completely changed my life. It gave me purpose. It gave me a why. And I always tell people, you know what? A purpose powerful enough will make you unstoppable. And that's exactly what it did for me at 17. I stopped blaming other people for my problems and my issues. And I took responsibility over my own self. And I went back to school. I got a job. They weren't paying much in those days, $5 an hour. And, I discovered that, there's no way I could possibly survive, go to school full time, and feed a family at $5 an hour. Started a business. Always need to highlight the point that it was a legal business, because at 17, what business you're starting? But started selling T-shirts and jeans from my locker in high school, and later turned that business into a business across Canada. 21 years old, and I had a major corporation across Canada. Discovered that being an entrepreneur, that's exactly what I wanted to do with my life. But as you know, Mandy, give a 21-year-old a lot of money, and being very much of a consumer, I almost lost everything and went bankrupt. And what I discovered was that even though business or a great career, all that is great, but you're subject to what's happening in the marketplace. You're subject to new ideas, new ways of delivering that idea, new products, and you really have to be on the cutting edge if you don't want to, go with the ups and downs of the economy. So I needed something else, Mandy, that was bulletproof. And for me, that I discovered real estate. And I started real estate about 20 years ago as a result of trying to find something else so I wasn't vulnerable to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And specifically multi-units, right? So the idea that the rent doesn't fluctuate as much as the prices of real estate that go up and down through cycles, through my market cycles. I love that idea. I think it's, a great idea. And my model is very simple. Just, look for tenants, things that are not affected by, someone farting in the other side of the world, or someone tweeting, right?
Yes.
someone tweeting can affect the marketplace. And so I just, I want to sleep at night. I'm still an entrepreneur. I still have businesses. I still operate as a business, but I love the security that I get behind that. So that's kind of like my story in a nutshell.
Yeah. And, one of my thoughts that came up was, how do you, like, you obviously didn't conform to potentially, go to school, finish school, go to, post-secondary, get a good job. And so how have you kind of handled some of the naysayers to be able, I'll call them the crabs in the bucket that are trying to keep you at status quo to be able to be one of them,
Yeah, one thing that I realized quickly when I first started, a lot of the people, when I had this idea of a business, a lot of the people, they would say that's not going to work, or you have to be confident in your ideas and move forward, and so you need to surround yourself around really great quality people in your life that are going to inspire you, want you to create more, do more, become more. And so what I discovered afterwards, when my business was a success, those same naysayers were now knocking on my door looking for employment. And so the haters, it's normal to have the haters. And I encourage for everyone to embrace the haters. And I'm going to say something here, Mandy. If you don't have enough haters, you're not doing anything, right? And so those haters come because they also are scared, right? And so when see someone succeed, they're like, oh yeah, I knew you could do it. When they were the first ones telling you that you'll never be able to do it, whatnot. So if your haters are starting to ask you for employment, that means you need a new set of haters. You gotta start getting new haters in your life.
Yeah, I give you a round of applause for the embrace the haters. It's a common thing for people as they grow, that they're, my banker told me to be, my banker said, what are you doing? When we went to step out, our financial planner was like, I think you have enough now. I think, and so you realize when you start to step outside of somebody else's comfort zone, and that's when they start to try and pull you back in, and maybe it's a hater, maybe it's a not hater.
Yeah. So no, I agree completely. I separate them. I call them pigeons, right? Mm-hmm. And so people that are achieving on a high level, those are my eagles. Those are people that are going to add value to your life. And there's the pigeons, and what pigeons love to do is come and poop all over your dreams. So, watch out for the pigeons in your life, and look for the eagles and fly with the eagles.
I've heard your fly with the eagles, but I didn't know there was another end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
So you now work. What does a typical week look like for you? Where does real estate kind of fit in, or how do you include real estate without losing the passion for why you're doing this?
Yeah. So the real estate is my main thing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for real estate, now I have 11 other companies, many different industries, but at the end of the day, the real estate has allowed me to explore other ventures. And so since the very beginning, that initial company that I sold, before I even turned 30, and I realized that while I was trying to find out what I wanted to do with my life, not even having to work, real estate was always there for me. Gave me the freedom, and so I'm always growing the portfolio. And as you know, Mandy, we talked about it. My goal is to get to 7,500 doors in the next 5 years. Yeah. And so that requires a lot of my attention. And so my focus is on the acquisition and investor relations. Yeah. And my passion is the education. I love to introduce people to real estate. I love to take people that are already doing something and then bring them to the next level. And so that's my passion: changing lives, changing mindsets all across North America. And so that's where my attention goes.
How do you keep your mindset at a spot? If somebody were to say, I want to be like Alfonso, I mean, I could certainly say that. What do you do to be able to keep yourself in a clear mind, motivated, or, like somebody said, motivation is like taking a bath. It's good for today. And then, but you're going to need to take another one and another one. So how do you keep your internal drive going in a good direction?
Well, everything that I do, for me, my life is it's exciting, right? I'm flying across the country. I'm inspiring people. I'm helping people. And so that inspires me. There's a distinction for me, anyways, in motivation and inspiration.
Yes.
Motivation is, like you said, you have to do it on a daily basis. And so you can motivate the football team and they will perform that day. Inspiration, Mandy, is long term. And if you can find ways to be inspired, find purpose in your life, you don't need any motivation. The inspiration will be enough to keep you moving forward, get you through roadblocks, get you through all the hard times, and see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so for me, it's just people. I want to be around people, like-minded people. And, it's a blessing, just to watch someone go through a transformation. To me, I know I'm doing good work, right? I'm changing lives. And the best payment that I could ever have is that, sometime in the future, even today, I'm getting emails and communications from people that I helped 14 years ago. And so to me, that's extremely inspirational, and that keeps me moving forward.
Tell us about your youth foundation, because I have a feeling that's pretty inspirational to you.
Yeah. So so for me, when I was 17, 15, I was lost, right? No guidance. I felt like I was hopeless. And I think I was 10 or 11 years old at one point. I had asked one of my teachers, I said, "What's a mortgage?" And the teacher said, "A mortgage is something you get when you're older."
Okay.
And so to me, that wasn't an acceptable answer. And it just made me feel like there was no hope, right? There was no financial education at home. My mom couldn't teach me about business, couldn't teach me about real estate, couldn't teach me about financial literacy, couldn't teach me about the power of public speaking. And so I put together programs. I would go into high schools and I would talk I would do like an hour presentation. I said, this is more than an hour's worth. And so I put together a day workshop for the schools. I would start with business, the differences between consumerism and being an investor, public speaking, sales skills, real estate, financial literacy, what to do with credit. And then so I presented it to the schools, and they're like, well, they're not really ready for that. And so I can do two things. One, I could sit back and do nothing, or two, I could take action and put my money where my mouth is. And this is why I started the foundation, where we now bring the youth to us in a ballroom setting with linens, and we do a one-day workshop on just that. Personal development, sales. We do public speaking, and contrary to what the people were saying, they were really engaged. Kids love it.
Do you see that picture? All the kids are smiling. Yeah. I don't know who's smiling more, you or the kids, but
it definitely and I don't ever want it to cost anything to a school or to a community or to the kids. So we're trying to create a situation where it's easy for anybody across Canada to take one of these workshops. So we've been working on this for about a year. We did our first pilot project a few months ago. It was a complete success. At the end of it, the kids were talking about assets and being a consumer versus an investor. They're talking eagles and pigeons, and it was just incredible. And so what we're doing is we're going to be going in the schools and inviting the kids to come to this one-day workshop. And if anybody wants to be part of it, you can go on Facebook. It's the Cuadra Youth Foundation, And I'm really excited about that.
So that's, you know what I say, that's great for kids. And I mean, I could already see my son needs to, would love to be an ambassador, come and hear what you have to say. But what about those people who are 21, 22, 24? Even if we say, like I remember not being comfortable at 30, going, there's got to be more here. Like I felt like we were conforming. So you're unlocking these children, which is amazing. How do we get in there and potentially offer those same options, those same unlockings to those people who might find themselves getting into it?
If you have a 21-year-old at home, I would suggest to get them to a workshop of any kind at the fastest possible. The reason I say that is a 21-year-old is definitely capable of sitting in a room with other adults and realizing how fortunate they are to actually be in that room when you have other adults in that room that are 50 and just getting started in that life of regret of why didn't I start when I was 21. And so there's definitely, if a 21-year-old is watching that, get yourself into a workshop. There's free workshops, free seminars, pay for whatever you have to pay for. The investment will serve you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And it's becoming unlocked from what we perceive, what people have told us, or what those teachers in that school system have told us all the way along, to be able to say, this is the route to financial freedom. And then, I know Uncle G tells us that, cash is trash these days, the whole way of savings and stuff. So what are a few of the mindsets that you can easily say you conflict with the norm?
Very simple. I mean, let's just take the book. I mean, there's hundreds of books on real estate and personal development, and I mean, it's $1 billion industry. And let's take the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which a lot of people have read. And I think it's in the millions and millions of people have read this book. If you talk to anybody, they've read this book. And Mandy, you've read the book as well.
Yep.
Tell me where in the book it says that you should buy your own personal residence as an investment.
It's not. It's a liability, because I use my pockets. I literally pull money out of my pocket, showing people that, it costs me money every month, and it doesn't put any money in my pocket.
So what happens is people read this and they skip over that part. They're like, well, that doesn't apply for me, because what happens is there's a paradigm that's happening. Your parents told you, don't rent, you should buy, because you're making the landlord rich. The message should have been, don't rent, become the landlord.
Right?
That's what the message should be. And so people have a hard time. They read all these books. All the books say the same thing, because these are all books written by people that are wealthy. And so people skip over that. They only go to the parts that apply to them or that they can understand. The game Monopoly, we've been playing it for hundreds of years. Mandy, where in the game Monopoly does it say buy your own house?
You don't own a house in Monopoly. You only buy rentals.
To rent. Right?
Yep.
And buy 4 and then level up to a hotel. That's
four greenhouses, one red hotel.
Yeah.
I tell people that often to be able to say, you kind of can't skip a step in the game of Monopoly.
Yeah, and so this is what happens. People have, they listen to their parents, and their parents were unfortunately wrong, right? The parents are wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that, because they didn't know any better either, right? And this is why the education system is falling apart, because the people that are working there, the teachers, God bless their soul. I mean, that's a great service that they're offering. There's no tools. They're not wealthy themselves, right? And so, there's a disconnect. And so we can either complain or we can do something about it. And so I've put my money where my mouth is. If anybody has any group of kids anywhere, I will fly out there personally on my own dime. I will rent a ballroom. I bring a team, all with my own money. and no one has to pay anything. Just put a group of like 30 to 40 kids together, and the ages between 11 to 17, and let's do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to think of another paradigm shift. What's something that, we talk about a lot about, the government says, I'll give you a tax break if you put money into RSPs. That's another one of those shifts. So where are you, and how do you share with people who, again, have been pre-programmed by generations and a government system to say RSPs are a great vehicle for saving for your retirement?
Yeah, so first of all, there's a reason why the government takes their money from your paycheck first, because they've created this consumer-based society. And if you leave money in the hands of a consumer, they will spend the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so they were realizing that, the government can't take care of these people. Now, they created monsters. They created consumers. There's no way a consumer on their own is going to be able to save enough money for retirement, right? And now, for the context of what we're talking about here, if you're an investor, the buying your own personal residence is the worst thing that you could do. But as a consumer, if you're part of that 96% people that are out there that are clueless or oblivious to this world, a house is the only way that you're forced to save and put away money. Yeah. And so the government, it creates these incentives because people are consumers. If they didn't have a house that they were paying for, living for the next 40, 50 years, or RSPs, when they get to the end, they will have nothing, right? Because they would spend it all in taxes.
Yeah.
And so I do agree in those vehicles for the average person. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yep. But if you want more, Mandy, and if you want to create more, and if you want to have financial freedom, those are not the vehicles that you could use. At the same time, what people are unaware of, that you could use some of those vehicles to invest, right? So instead of going into the mutual funds where your money's going there to die, you could redirect those funds and invest them directly into real estate. Yeah. And so the average person just isn't aware that that's possible. And so this is why it's important that you get the right education.
Yeah, and I think touching on that too in this consumer, talk a little bit about where your mind is on delayed gratification, because real estate is I would say guarantee. I don't like to use that word very much, but it is a get rich really slow. But it's invest today for where you perceive you're going, but it's not tomorrow and it's not the day after. So, in a world of we want results quickly, how do you kind of touch on a delayed gratification kind of topic?
I have mixed feelings on that, Mandy. I'll tell you why. Number one, everybody wants it, but they're unwilling to become it, and that's the truth. Right? And this is what, and then when you have like books, you show someone a really great book, a seminar or a conference or anything, the first thing they do is complain about the cost. Well, if you want it, you have to become it, right? And if you want it fast, you need to leverage other people's experiences, other people's systems, if you want it fast. And so what happens is people will get a little bit of information and go out there and make massive mistakes and then complain that real estate doesn't work because my Uncle Billy Bob lost his shirt back in 1939. And so there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so for the people that want it quickly, it's possible, but you have to pay the price.
Yeah.
I've come to the belief in the past 20 years of being in this industry that pay nothing, you will do nothing. Invest a significant amount into yourself, you will get those results, and those results will come quickly. And so that's kind of where it's like, I know it's not get rich quick, it's get wealthy for sure. And that timeline and when it happens is up to you, really. Right. It can happen instantly if you're ready and open to absorb and change your mindset and move forward. And sometimes you got to pay the price, right? And if you're not, if you're one of those people that you know what, I'm just going to take a little bit of information and go out there and do it on my own, or I don't see the value in investing into being parts of networks or other educational platforms. Well, that will take almost forever, right? Anybody that I know has paid and has invested into themselves. That's the first thing that you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's lots of different courses out there. I, say to people that before I was aware of it, before it, kind of came into my RAS filter to say, like, is there coaching out there for real estate? Is there bars and free stuff? Next thing you know, as soon as I was asked the universe some questions, there's things that are popping up on the radio, and maybe that was a little bit of artificial intelligence reading my mind to be able to say, go listen to this, but you don't know what you don't know. So I love this, you're aspiring to 7,500 units. That might not be able to sink into some people. What was your trajectory? How did you get going on, the first couple properties? Are you an analysis by paralysis guy, or are you like just a quick thinker and able to make a decision fast? What kind of, what's a trait like that worth in this industry?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mandy. I'll tell you this right now. When I started in real estate, I made the biggest mistake that everybody makes. This is why I'm talking about it. I bought the onesie, right? I bought the single door. The problem with the single door is that there is no income, especially if you're living in that single door. Almost lost everything. Quickly realized that wasn't the way. My second deal was the twosie, the duplex.
Okay.
And so what happens is we tend to operate based on our current situations. And
Yep.
so, every time I leveled up, I realized how easier it was, with more units. For example, I had the triplex and the fourplexes, and then I leveled up to the 7 and the 10s. I said, wait a minute, this is the same amount of work, but more income, right? And then when I went to the 15s and the 20s and the 24s and the 30s, then I realized, wait a minute, this is the same exact work as the triplex. And so we tend to operate based on where we are. And what changed for me, and what really started to, when my business started to, when I started to scale the business, is when I realized that I need to first understand where I want to go. For example, my mission is to get to 7,500 doors. Well, I need to operate as if I already have those 7,500 doors. So all the decisions are going to be based on those 7,500 doors.
So your mindset is, what do they say? Fake it till you make it. But no, I'm not. This isn't fake. This is acknowledging that.
This is operating as if you have it. For example, every decision you make will be based on your time limitations, your income limitations, your experience limitations. But if you could understand what you actually want, then you can reverse engineer and know exactly what decisions need to happen today. Because we spend a lot of time spinning our wheels, buying properties and in activities that do not reflect where we're going. And so This is the first, this is a long time ago, I started to ask myself, what do I actually want? And everybody can have, there's different reasons why I want 7,500 doors. I already have financial freedom. So I have to scare myself, right? And so you have to have goals and targets. And so what's a good goal and what's a good target? Well, it's something that excites you, but it should also scare you. Yeah. If it doesn't scare you, then you're not there. It could excite you, but you need a bit of both. So that's how you create a perfect target for yourself. So that's my first 5-year goals. My first 5 years. My next 5 years, rather. Sorry. After that, my next goal will be 75,000.
I just want that to sit in for a little bit, because for somebody, 7 doors is a big goal. Then you go to 70, then you go to 70, 7,500 to 75,000. But you become that person along, yes, which is where we were with this conversation to get going. You have to become the person, whether that be in investing in yourself, going to different seminars, leveling up. I love that term, and I encourage people to think that way, to level up to the next, whatever that next is.
For you, right? If you're looking at the twosies, you know what? Look at 3s, look at 4s, look at 6s. You know, like the faster you level up, you can already cut a lot of the ups and downs of real estate. Because when I look back, a lot of the biggest I guess issues in real estate for me, a lot of the hair pulling, how I lost my hair is like it came from the 2s and the 3s and the 4s, right? When you level up, what happens is now there's enough income there to be able to operate with a team. And that's the key, being able to leverage team and people and other people's time. You see, we teach that all the time, but people skip over that and think they need to do everything themselves. And so the most valuable thing that you have in life is time. And so until you're able to leverage a team, you will never be able to grow. And so people still operating based on where they are. And so they can't grow because they're like, well, I don't want to get that personal assistant because I'm going to wait till I have a few more properties until I hire that personal assistant. Well, you're doing tasks, you know, in the plumbing and the plunging of the toilets and the you know, those are tasks that are beneath your pay grade. And so you need to ask yourself consistently, you know, is this where the value is in my business, or should I be doing something else?
When I have 7,500 units, will I be plunging 7,500 toilets? And, you know, the obvious answer is no.
Yeah.
So why am I doing it today then?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. You are a wealth of knowledge, but you know what? In this industry, I find amazing human beings, and you are just one of those people that lead with value, that you know, share of yourself, you know, for the amount of people that you connect with, and that I know you have a connection with. I was telling Larry when I came home from the last summit, I was like, we were like connected, like, you know, I felt your presence, and I thank you for that. And I thank you for your presence here today. I am getting a little bit of a wrap up time with Larry. We could probably go on for a very long time. Oh, there's Rasna and Kathy and Mike and Fern have been sharing. And so there's lots of people.
Love those guys. Love those guys.
I know. So, and I love you, and I thank you very much for being who you are and leaving and sharing and giving, and I wouldn't change you for the world.
Thank you so much, Mandy, and I love the platform that you have created here. Sharing with people the information, and it's truly of value to everyone who, you know, that watches these shows, and I've seen a lot of your shows. And I'm so happy that and honored that you have had me on.
Well, thank you. And if somebody wants to reach out to you, I know Larry's kind of been putting it out there, but what's a great way for somebody to be able to connect with you and follow some of your day-to-day actions?
You know what? I say this every time. I'm very Googleable. You just Google Alfonso Cuadra, and I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere on every platform. You cannot miss me.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you, Larry, in the background, for producing this week's episode. Everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode of The Full-Time Investor. Same time, same place, different guests next week. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching. We want to know, what do you want to see on the next video? Comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified the next time we're doing a video. Like, dislike, we don't care!